Collective, welcome to the channel. It is November 20th, 2025. Let's chop right in. Get a storyline for the collective. I hope you're doing well and the day is treating you kindly. Thanks for being here, everybody. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Storyline for the collective. Please and thank you. Storyline for the collective, please and thank you. All right, in the central energy, we've got the Eight of Pentacles in the reversed. Somebody may not be able to focus on their work. In the challenge position, Ten of Cups in the reverse. Lack of stability, a broken home. Loss of family. In the subconscious, Queen of Pentacles. Is successful. So we've got Queen of Pentacles. She's got the money. She's got money. She's got opportunity. She's successful. In the recent past, Six of Swords, some kind of transition. Intention and expectation. Five of Wands. Chaos, arguments, aggression. You're leaving, so you left. You left. There's a transition. We got people are arguing. They're in chaos. They want to compete. They want your boat. In the near future. Three of Swords. The lens is being looked through. Queen of Wands. In the environment, somebody's in a nightmare. Somebody's in a nightmare because you're victorious. Hopes and fears, Eight of Swords, feeling trapped, feeling like a victim. Last night, one of the things that were said was, they're victorious, you fool. They can't force something. They can't force it. They're victorious. Ace of Cups, love. Somebody's being restricted from your love. Yeah, they're being let go. High Priestess, Temperance, Angel, letting them go. So the High Priestess is letting go. High Priestess, Temperance, Angel is releasing these people, letting them go. Because they were being deceitful and cheating. She's not giving them anything. She's not sharing her stuff with them anymore. The love of divine feminine is getting the Fool. So she's got the new beginning, and the Hierophant is right here, and the King of Pentacles is right here too. manifesting it. Divine Feminine is getting a new beginning. Most High is right there with this. Yeah, they are manifesting a life of luxury. King of Pentacles, the Hierophant, manifesting a life of luxury. And high ground. High ground. The Lovers are taking the high ground. Moving on up. Moving on up. Getting out of Dodge. Whoa, let's use these. I like these new cars. I gotta get some new ones too. Go through my decks. Switch out the decks a little bit. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So somebody's feeling overworked. They're in shock. See, somebody is overworked. They're in shock. They can't focus. They're not able to focus on their work. They're in shock. They just want to make a change. This says, while we generally consider ourselves to be playing the lead role in the film of our lives, we are also part of a larger story in which others' actions may spin the narrative in unexpected directions. This can be a real shock, a violin shriek of the nerves. Things may change dramatically, especially when you least expect it. Don't let your guard down. So they're in shock here. They're unable to focus. They're unable to focus. They're in shock. We've got 10 of Cups in the reverse. There could be a broken home, loss of family, a divorce. They're not being reunited. Lies, because they were lying. They're losing their family because of the lies they told. They're in shock. They can't focus on their work. They're overworked. Whatever they're working on isn't working. They're in shock. 10 of Cups reversed, a divorce, loss of family, broken home, because they were lying. Lying about who they were. A web of lies. So there's no 10 of Cups for those guys. Queen of Pentacles is here, and she's got success. She's very grounded. We got suspicion. She's suspicious of everybody. Looking out for this. Looking out for these traitors, for these betrayers. Very suspicious. Keeping a wary eye on how things are evolving. So there's a Queen of Pentacles here. She's grounded. She's generous. She's providing financially. She could be offering opportunity, or she's successful in whatever adventure she's going on. She's suspicious of everybody. She's making sure she keeps an eye on how things are evolving. Everything is changing at a disorienting pace. A cosmic disorder introduced to the way we thought life would always be. Holding on to our individual perspective can be exhausting, and the temptation to give in can be overwhelming. So this says, don't be trapped by old concepts. So they're shocked because the Queen of Pentacles isn't trapped by old concepts that they were trying to force into the mental body, the collective mental body. Queen of Pentacles is there. She's very, she could be protected. She's protected. There's successful protection, suspicious of everybody. We got face. 6 of Swords, moving on from trauma, face. Face. You're more beautiful than ever. Scars are earned. Don't hide them. So you're moving on from the trauma, and it says here, at what cost are we concerned with the judgment and attention of others? Are we saving face for ourselves or for those close to us? Mirrors can be blackened, reflections averted, but we are who we are, and only by seeing ourselves truly can we be set free. Scars are earned, don't hide them. You're more beautiful now than you ever were. You've undergone a great transformation. There's you're still got those doves above you. No matter what you've been through, there's still this this air or energy of purity around you. Beauty with the flowers there. You still have beauty coming out of you, regardless of what they've done. You're moving on from that trauma. You're more beautiful now than you ever were. We've got a 5 of Wands here. Somebody wants to argue. Because you're moving on, somebody is in chaos. Hunger. There's aggression and hunger. Arguments, aggression, hunger. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others. Everyone wants a piece of you. So they got some people out there in competition. They're hungry. The other day I got message that there was some folks wanting, they were hungry, they needed food. They wanted these people to help them. These people that have been fighting for whoever this is that's in shock about their lives and the fact that they didn't get the 10 of Cups reunion. 3 of Swords, there's heartbreak and trauma. So they're in trauma. They're competing. They're hungry. We've got an obsession. They're depressed. Elemental. 5 sellers underground. They're in heartbreak. Phantom of the Opera. It's all an act. It's all a show. Obsession. Structuring a whole life around something or someone can draw others into high drama that exists only in the Gothic theater we've constructed in our own mind. When we force others to play roles they would rather not explore, expect disaster. Perfect plans and chandelier high hopes crash the hardest. So somebody's going through a trauma now because they were obsessed. They are obsessed. They had very high hopes, very unrealistic hopes. Now it seems they're fighting with about hunger. They're fighting for food. They could be perhaps fighting for food. Wherever they are, we've got the Queen of Wands. Fate. Fate. Queen of Wands and fate. Determining her own fate. So Queen of Wands is determining her own fate. The actions of others can set things in motion toward you unstoppably, so that your only agency is in how you handle the situation. There is no way to avoid it, no opting out. It's coming for you whether you like it or not. You see this with a disturbing focus, even if those around you cannot. What can you do? Determine your own fate. She's very fired up. She's very passionate and very, very determined to stay alive and live the life that she has suffered so greatly to enjoy. So somebody's in a nightmare. They're having a nightmare here because this Queen of Wands determined her own fate. She did not give up. She did not cede and say, oh no, somebody better come in and save me. Nope, she did what she did. Managed the path to the best of her ability. Six of Wands victory. We've got Pet Cemetery is in grief. It could be that those who had been brought back from the dead are in grief. There could be a lot of grief here. Let's see what grief actually says. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Darling, it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go. It can be hard to recognize that sometimes an end is better. Grieving a loss can drive us to do things we would never consider otherwise. Things that we know, that we've even seen, result in terrible outcomes. Revisionist thinking can take hold in a place somewhere between optimism and despair. It's okay to let go. So you've got a victory here. You're triumphing. People are in grief because you're letting go. They're feeling trapped. They're over there with that hunger. They need food. And it's the dead. It's like they're hungry. They got cut off from siphoning energy. Nature. We got nature. Somebody could be feeling trapped by nature. The animals, the birds, they're coming, they're coming. There was that, what was that movie? Was it called The Birds? Where the woman was running and the birds were attacking her? Problems of a feather may flock together, and while just one may seem manageable, if many descend upon us simultaneously, we can feel beset by an irresistible force of nature. When complications peck and scratch at us from all sides, it can be hard to know where to turn or what to do. But take comfort that as suddenly and mysteriously as a flurry of problems can arise, their departure can be equally abrupt. Actively meet each situation as it comes. So somebody is feeling helpless. They're feeling trapped, isolated. They could be like the birds, the animals, whatever this is, Mother Nature. The nature may be coming and doing a thing. We got Ace of Cups, new love. Big old cup of love. Family. Big old cup of love and family. Family. You know you were her favorite, right? Every family has its favorites, and the hopes and expectations of older generations are often invested in the young. These designs can be made explicit, as if presented in a diorama, or our actions may be driven by a more secretive ritual. Nature, nurture. It can be difficult to disentangle our own agency from the influence of kin. Strive to live up to expectations. I would say your own. You know, you were her favorite, right? So you got a cup of love. Big old ace of cups of love. Somebody in the family thinks that you were always her favorite. It could be that they're upset because you got this flame on. It's like you could be standing here like igniting something, like the fire in you, angel fire, could be like burning up one of your enemies or something. Maybe somebody's over here looking at you as you're like all flame on. I don't know, take it as it resonates. Somebody's real upset because you were the favorite and you got this big old cup of love, and that family, they were pissed. They wanted you out of the way. They didn't want you to be, they wanted you silenced. Your hot, your heat, your fire. Fueled by love, not rage. The woods, you're looking at the bigger picture. The animals could be actually, these animals that had been experimented on by the devil could actually be in the woods. They could be chasing people down. You know, with this nature here and all the birds attacking, it could be that these ones are in the woods and they're having to, they're getting ran down by these animals because the devil was doing scientific experiments on them. Take it as it resonates. That sounds to me like, yeah, they're on fire, man. There could be cats bringing the fire, the flame. Fire. Roar! Let it all come down. Something new will arise. It's like the cat is burning it down. Burning it down. Burning it down. Love, the angel fire, the angel love, whatever that is. Burning it down. Cat. The cat. I like the dark. It's friendly. Embrace your hunting instinct. Focus on the world outside. These people may have to be fighting off animals. Like maybe they were doing stuff with animals and now the animals, the pet cemetery and nature, it's like it's all coming back. Attacking them, like maybe the animal sacrifices or something. Maybe some of these flesh suits that actually are walking around out there are animals that have been put into a body. Ew, you are rising above this, like you're soaring high above the curse. What the curse? of those who had undergone genetic modifications. Take it as it resonates. There could be a celebration here. These cards are something else. Celebration. Practice self-care and avoid overextending yourself. You might think people are trying to trick you. And it could, so you're going to be extra cautious. There's fire in the woods. The animals that they were doing genetic experiments on. This devil looks like there's some stuff going on. Could be the fire. The fire. Maybe they're wanting to burn down the woods because there's genetic experiments on the animals in a particular woods. Wow, is that true? Ace of Cups, you were always the favorite. We've got animals in the woods. This is the devil doing genetic experiments on the animals in the woods. It's like they're going to try to burn it down. What? To release the cat? Get the cat to leave? Go? They might try to burn stuff to get the cat. The cat is messing up their world. The Night Hunter. The Night Hunter. Combination. These are hybrids. They've been cursed. They're cursed with this fertility, sacrifices to the water, children of night. Oh, looking for an escape. Oh, now they got dinner. Oh gosh, the mask. Whoever was like, put on the mask, pretend you're this or that. It was a trickster. Man. Everybody fell for it. They went for it. They thought it was a good idea. Love. So we've got the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Somebody lost their job. They're not able to get a job. Whatever work they're doing isn't working. They can't focus. They're shocked. They're in shock. It's a Bates Hotel. Whatever they're doing, they're in shock. Insight. They plucked the wrong one. They collected the wrong being. They tried to, now there's insight. And they're not getting, Ten of Cups in the reverse. They were lying about everything. These people, or whoever this was, they were actually a Ten of Cups reverse. Everything was lies. Everything that they did was lies. They're losing their family. They could be losing their stability. They got to get out because of all the lies. They're challenged. Resistance. There's resistance. They lied to people. Now they're upset because people see their lies. They're in shock. You're the golden nugget. They're in shock. You have insight. It's like you're sharing your information. People are resisting. Queen of Pentacles is grounded. She could be providing financially. She could be like the head of security. There's a success here, some kind of opportunity with the Three of Wands. Suspicious of everything and everyone. There's suspicion here. There could be like research going on. Everybody who's getting an opportunity within the territory will be vetted, investigated, researched. Six of Swords, moving on from trauma. Whoa, a whole bunch of cards flipped. Moving on from trauma. And face. That was, you're more beautiful now than ever. Scars are earned. Don't hide them. That's just far too many cards. Better days are coming. You have earned your scars. You're more beautiful now than you ever were. We've got influence, routine, you're more beautiful now than you ever were. It could be that you were under the influence or there could have been a routine of some kind of influence. Maybe now you will have that influence, or somebody routinely like cross the over and back, the half court rule or something with this negative influence. You're more beautiful now than you ever were. Somebody was routinely bringing some kind of influence. Maybe your routine or whatever you did to recover from all of these scars, all of these wounds, all of this trauma. Maybe that's what it is. So you're influencing people with your routine to move beyond or through that trauma, and then to get beyond it. Well, we got the Five of Wands. Somebody is fighting. There's a lot of aggression. There's argument. There's hunger. So people are hungry. Could be a different dimensional system, a timeline. There might be a different timeline. We got play, hunger, and play. Hunger. They're coming to get you. Play. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others. So they were busy fighting. They're still fighting. They wanted a world of violence. They're in a world of violence. There's hunger. It could be, you know, that they didn't take care of themselves. They were too busy playing. They were too busy playing. They didn't take care of themselves. They can't help anybody else. They were too busy playing. They thought it was a game. They're in heartbreak, trauma, this obsession. This obsession. Dial it down. They were over the top hype. Hype usually leads to disappointment. They were obsessed. They were hyped up. They were all going for it. It was chaos. 5 sellers down. When we force others to play roles they would rather not, Expect disaster. There's heartbreak, trauma. There's some kind of disaster. They were obsessed. We've got a scavenger. Fate. Queen of Wands took control of her own fate. Like, no matter what, this obsessed, hyped up Pet Cemetery person wanted, she didn't play the role that they wanted her to play. You know, they weren't able to dominate her. They weren't able to dominate her. She took control of her own fate. It's like, yeah, this is miserable. This is absolutely so terrible. I mean, she may have even said to herself, I would never, ever, 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 ever wish this on my worst enemy. She may have repeated it many times. As she sat there in this chair here, managing herself well, choosing her fate. You can either live and manage yourself well under great duress, or you can buckle up and just crumble and fade away, right? Oh, that's wild. I said buckle up, and I just got an alert here. Somebody said buckle up. That's so... Okay, buckle up. I guess it's time to buckle up. Well, we got a Queen of Wands here who did just that. She buckled up, and these ones were not able to dominate her. They're in a Nine of Swords nightmare because she's victorious. She was able to successfully move through this challenge. They're in grief. Pet Cemetery is in the grief. And I don't know if what's in these suits, these human suits, I mean, they could have maybe pulled them up from the Pet Cemetery and put them in a human suit. I don't know. Maybe that's why we got so many fellas out there, you know, wanting to sex, animals, and how they're so just freaking, they actually act like an animal. Maybe it's because they are in a flesh suit, called up. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. Whoa, but if you saw Pet Cemetery, you would know that your sweet little boy, you know, that crossed over, if you call him back up, he's going to start running around like a little whatchamacallit, and, it's going to get ugly. Somebody's in upheaval. So, yeah, we got Nine of Swords. They're in a nightmare. They're afraid. You've got the Six of Wands, victory. You have triumphed over this. You chose life. As difficult as it was, you decided to live, and they were not able to dominate you. You've got them in grief. Pet Cemetery, I don't know what that was. Whoever these people are that perhaps call up, you know, the undead and work with them like that. We got upheaval. There could be upheaval. They're in grief. There's a lot of upheaval because whatever they're doing, you're waterproof too. They're not able to curse you. They're not able to dominate you. They're feeling trapped. They're feeling victimized. It could be that nature or the mother's children in all forms, the animals, like that's from the birds or whatever, when they all came and attacked the woman and started pecking. So, you know, somebody could be getting victimized by nature, by the animals, from this Pet Cemetery thing. There was that scientific experiment in one of those. Yeah, the woods. So in the woods, the animals, right? They were doing scientific experiments on them, this devilish energy. They might be trying to set fire to those woods. The cat's going to take flight. Get out of there. They were doing genetic experiments out there. Cursing people. Trying to curse your celebration. Maybe they curse their own celebration. They're in grief over this Pet Cemetery stuff. Yeah, and that was another thing they were quizzed on. Their scientists' experiments, the upper council or universal planetary cosmic courts or something, I mean, I think there's going to be a forest that's going to be set fire too, because it's full of these animals that they were doing genetic experiments on. Somebody's here feeling victimized, feeling trapped in nature. It could be that they're trapped in a space in the woods with these animals. Maybe they're getting attacked by nature, by these animals. Balance. Balance is being restored. Balance is being restored. Ace of Cups, love. This is new love. Overflowing love. There is family. They're raging. You were always the favorite. They're so mad. They want you gone. They might want to set you on fire. Maybe they're all fired up. The illusion broke. They can't cast any illusions. You were always the favorite. The illusion is done. Whoever this is, your love here makes it very, very clear who you are. And you got family. There's some kind of family here. Look at that look on that face. The mirror magic didn't work. You are love. This is your love cup. They're like, you were always the favorite. Kind of reminds me of that Wizard of Oz and the witch. I'm melting. The voice, anyway. So yeah, your love, you're just this beautiful love, big old cup of love. That's a massive cup of love. And it's got the dove there too. The mirror magic didn't work. The illusions aren't working. The family's illusions are not working. They may be getting lit up on fire. Maybe they're so upset that you're on fire. Let me read that again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know you were her favorite. So you've got an Ace of Cups here. These people are all mad because you were the favorite, and it is difficult to disentangle our own agency from the influence of kin. But we have here the illusions are broken. There's no more illusions. They're not effective. They no longer work. Ooh, and there's wrath. There's wrath. And it could be there's wrath because of the trickery that these ghosts were doing with heart bonds. Playing with love, getting a contract, and then hurting that love and replacing it with a duplicate. Called up from another one of our ghost friends. They were switching places with the living. You've got your freedom here in this sacred space. There's going to be freedom from distraction in this sacred space. The illusions aren't going to work. Divine Mother in one of her aspects stated they won't be able to curse your land or your business. There won't be any illusions. No distractions. They are going to be released from the community. And they could be in grief over this fight. They could be in grief over this fight, and that they were pulling up all of these beautiful seeds that the Most High had planted here for them, trying to get a ticket out of here. The illusion didn't work. They're in grief over this fight. They're like, oh, they were plucking up your seeds, or the night was planting seeds, but you're leaving. Look at that. You're an anomaly. So you're leaving. The illusion didn't work. Everybody can see that you're this bright. You're not this anymore. If you ever were, now you're this. You're like, well, you're soaring, but you're this bright, shining one. Like you're like both. You're both. You're this and you're this. You've really grown a lot during all of this mischief. Those who are doing, somebody's being warned. All of that mischief that they were doing here has been exposed. Yep. There could be a team here of nature. You've got nature right there where the birds are attacking them. There could be a team of people or entities here affiliated with the earth, making preparations to, but we got survival, making preparations to survive the same things that you survived in the memory, in the history, alone, while people were messing with your mind, leaving you alone. You're protected. Your protection, they're afraid of your protection. They're in fear of your protection. They were committed to an empty nest and to eating those young out of that nest. Commitment, empty nest, and then self-interest. Got the little baby right there, and things are, yeah. So they were committed to that, and they knew the risk. They knew the risk of being displaced from your abundance. You have grown and you are abundant, and now they got to go to a distance because they were copycatting you. They're going to go away. They're going to go away. Well, wrath is here. We got the illusion is upside down. There's no mirror magic, did not work. You are obvious. It's obvious who you are. We've got we got woods that have animals that had been genetically modified or experimented on. We got some stuff going on. We've got hunger, chaos, wrath. So, Eight of Pentacles, whatever this is, their work isn't paying off. They can't focus. They're in shock. They're in shock over the insight that you have brought of their work. They're in shock over the insight that you have over their work, what they've been doing, how they've been doing it. I heard last night, you have no idea what happens to psychics. And right away somebody said, they have no idea how much information the psychics have brought forth. So, I mean, in the history, it used to be different, you know. I guess we'd have a partial reset or whatever, and the psychics and the oracles and the prophets and the prophetesses who used to be so very valuable to kings and queens and emperors and empresses and gods and goddesses, you know, throughout the history. They've been doing their very best to destroy their minds and their connections, telling you you're crazy because you have this different way of thinking. So there's a broken home. There could be a divorce. They're not taking part in the Ten of Cups because there's lies. There's resistance here. Conform. There's lies. There's resistance. People are worried. They're hesitating. So there's resistance. So this person, they're in shock because you brought forward insights as the golden nugget that you are of the work that they've been doing, and people are now worried. They're making decisions. This person didn't get the Ten of Cups. They must, you were always the favorite, and they weren't able to take you out. You commanded your own fate. You didn't do what they expected you to do. You buckled the heck up, and they did not dominate you. Queen of Pentacles is here. She could be providing financially for some kind of security. She could be being very generous with people, offering opportunity. There's a suspicion of everyone in the territory, and people are paranoid. Not everybody belongs there, There's been some people there that have been doing very, very bad things. Last night I heard that the landlord took everything from a female because she was partner swapping. What do they call that? Swingers or something. There was no dedication to family or, you know, family trees or anything like that. It was just a sexual thing. And the landlord apparently doesn't want to provide housing or finances for that lifestyle. So they took everything apparently. They're paranoid because everybody's being looked at. Queen of Pentacles, everything, everybody in the territory is being looked at. We've got Six of Swords, moving on from trauma. There is a transition. We got face, and we've got you're more beautiful now than you ever were. Scars are earned. We've got a routine influence, some kind of influence on a routine. Maybe you're here, you're moving on from trauma. Well, that kind of came out like that, and this kind of came out like that. So more beautiful now. Scars are earned. You're getting off there. You've got relief. Scars are earned. We've got influence and routine. It could be that you have offered some influence, or maybe you have been able to provide information regarding the influence by somebody's routine. You obtained a lot of scars getting this information. We've got introvert. There could be separation here. Somebody was doing magic. So the introvert, there's a separation and a casting away of somebody, or somebody's doing magic. Doing magic on a routine to negatively influence others. That's exactly what that is. So you're stable. You are stable. So better days are coming on. You're moving away from the trauma. You've got scars. You earned every one of them, and you're more beautiful now than you ever were. You're stable, and you're okay. You're still smiling. You've been able to bring information forth regarding some influences, regarding the negative influences, regarding a routine of this Five of Wands, aggression, competition. There's hunger, and they thought it was a game. They could be hungry. They were feeding on people. They thought it was a game to go hit innocent people, to go cause chaos in their life, to go be very aggressive with people who were really doing their best to get along in the world, and then to just siphon the life out of them. They thought it was a game. Thought it was a game. They're going to be confined for thinking it was a game. It was funny to feed on you. We've got Three of Swords, trauma, obsession, and scavenge. They have an obsession with scavenging others. Five cellars underground. They were forcing others to play roles that they would rather not explore. They were driving people into specific roles that they would rather not be in. And they're to expect disaster. Chandelier high hopes crash the hardest. They were all hyped up. They brought them five cellars underground because they loved them. And they forced them to play roles they would rather not explore. Disaster is hitting this scavenger. They're being stopped. Disaster is hitting this scavenger. They're being stopped. A network, a whole network is being stopped, or it could be that a friends group, a team of people is stopping them. Queen of Wands, rather than crumble and fizzle out, let her fire go out, she lit that damn fire up, and she's like, she just like, what did she do? She became stoic. She commanded herself well. She was determined to live her life. They were not able to dominate her. They're being stopped. These scavengers are being stopped. She faced her fear. She's got scars and lots of trauma in the history. They weren't able to dominate her. And it's like, this isn't the only lifetime. Like, it's many lifetimes. You keep coming back. You keep resurrecting. You keep being one of the stars of the show. You're always rising to the top. And they're like, why won't you stay down? So they're in a nightmare over your victory, over your celebration, over your public recognition. Pet Cemetery is in grief. They're in upheaval. Everything that they did, like, they can't curse you. It's all rolling right off you. Waterproof. You're waterproof, and they're furious. Nothing will stick to you. They're feeling like a victim. They're feeling trapped by nature. They could be getting attacked by the birds. The birds want balance. The birds are going to be putting in balance. Mother Nature is restoring balance. Mother Nature is restoring balance. The animals, it could be the animals that they were doing science, or these science experiments on, maybe, are after them. They're in the woods there. They could be undergoing some kind of wrath. Promise. Balance, promise. Responsible. Confirmation. Balance. So balance is promised. There's a promise of balance. Nature is, these people are feeling helpless against nature. This could be the Pet Cemetery, the ones that they were doing scientific experiments on them that was mentioned last night or this morning. It's sometime, they all kind of blend in together. But there was an authority talking to this curator about his scientists' experiments. And now you got this. Ace of Cups, new love. New love. We've got family freaking out. They could be on fire. They could be burning up because the illusions did not work. They're not covered by your love. They couldn't pass themselves off as you. They could be getting burned up. Angel fire might be hitting them. The fire of the Most High God might be recycling them. I don't know how this goes. What does the sun, the energy of the sun, do when I know that when he spoke, it would just kind of move you out of the body, but it looks like he doesn't want to even move them out of the body. It's like he's just lighting them on fire or something. Because the illusion didn't work, it's obvious that whoever this is isn't you. Queen of Wands. Whew. Oh, and you got alliances. These are your alliances. They see right through the illusion. So somebody was tempted and bribed, and they signed a contract or bound themselves to a contract. And we've got live and learn. So you've lived and learned. You persevered through all of the challenges. You've got all kinds of information here, all kinds of insight as to the profession, the work that these ones have been doing. They're in shock. because they were fighting you. They were fighting you, a high value person. They were fighting you for your things. And now we've got death. Somebody's protesting here because you're comfortable. They're upset that you're comfortable, that you're sleeping well. They can't stick their magic to you. They're stubborn, they're arrogant, they do not want to hear it. Justice is here for good moral humans who have earned merit and family, you know, by serving family, by, you know, supporting family. Justice is happening here, and you're probably going to get a new family tree. At least that's what the mother in one of her aspects stated. She said, they lost their dream come true when they came for you. You're getting a new family tree, which is right there. Why? Because you are worth saving. You're high value. And there's evidence of what these third wheel enemies were doing to you and your energy, your energetic signature. They're blind. They could be fallen into a trap. They can't see you anymore. They can't see. Maybe they fell into a trap. This family here, they're lit up on fire. The illusion is in the reverse. It's like they've been seen. It could be that you got this unconditional love, and this prideful person was daydreaming about receiving what comes with sweetheart love. They just didn't want to be it. They wanted to be seen as without actually being, you know, kind of, they wanted the reward of it without actually doing. They was just want to cast illusions and stuff. They could be in a nightmare now, and this magic card keeps wanting to come out. They're in a nightmare over this magic that they sent out. They're getting outcast because you triumphed over their interferences, and they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. There's a schedule here for stress. Stress. They could be stressed out. They're overwhelmed. We're on schedule. We're on schedule. We got a new schedule. We got a new plan. There's new organization being made. We got a lot of really upset people out there, and they're getting God's wrath because they keep trying to interfere with what God wants to happen here. You know, Most High God, Mother, Father. They keep trying to interfere. These dead people that are being called up from the cemetery. You know. Well, we got an hour. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and leave this here. I think that that's enough. I hope that this brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.